come on down to your mats. And tonight we will start on our backs. So go ahead and lay yourself down. Y'all know I like to start with a stretch. So give yourself a big inhale and stretch everything out. Stretch your arms, stretch your legs. Do what you gotta do. Shake everything out. I always like to hug myself in a little ball. It feels really good on the low back usually. Take a couple of deep breaths here where you inhale through your nose and exhale however you want, just to let all the air out, whether it's through your nose, your mouth, blowing it out. Fill up the lungs and then just let it go. And then find yourself in a position, you can extend your legs if you'd like. I like to have my knees bent, feet on the floor, just on your back comfortably. If you do have your knees bent, go ahead and let your knees collapse in together. So separate your feet a little wider and let your knees just fall together so you're more relaxed. And go ahead and place one hand on your heart center and one hand on your abdomen. And close your eyes. And just take a moment to focus on your breath. Breath is where yoga begins and ends. It is the single most important part of the practice. So there's two things I often say. There's a lot of things I often say, but my two favorite mantras are that the hardest part of the practice is stepping foot on the mat. And the most important part of the practice is the breathing. And if you do nothing else but breathe on the mat, intentionally breathe. You breathe no matter what. But if you mindfully breathe on the mat, you have had a successful yoga practice. So while you're lying here, inhale through your nose. As you do, feel your hands rise, feel the ribs expand, feel the abdomen rise, and then exhale through the nose. Inhale for maybe about a 4 count. See if you can hold that breath at the top for a moment before you exhale. For again, maybe a 4 count, maybe your exhale is even longer. Inhale. Feel the hand on the abdomen rise, feel the hand on the chest rise, hold it. And as you exhale, feel the hand on the abdomen fall, feel the hand on the chest fall. So find your own pace, your own pattern. You never need to keep pace with my breathing. We each have our own needs. I'm just here to remind you to breathe. And see if as you do this, you can allow your body to just slow down. If you were working today, your mind could still be reeling. As you exhale, see if you can let go of that craziness of the mind and just feel it slow. As you inhale, imagine you can breathe in relaxation. And as you exhale, imagine you can let go of tension. And literally just focus on the breath. If it helps, you can think inhale. You can think hold. And then you can think exhale as you let it go. Allowing your eyes to focus on the backs of your eyelids, or maybe they turn inward towards that third eye. And you simply inhale, feeling the hands rise. Exhale, feeling the hands fall. As we move through the practice, always remembering this breath. If you're holding a posture, find this breath to help you find stability. And if we're moving, find this breath to help your movement. Inhaling through one part of the movement, exhaling through the other part of the movement. And now once again, take a stretch. Extend your legs long, extend your lungs, arm overhead. Take an inhale. And exhale, bring your arms down by your side, palms on the mat. Bend the knees again, but this time placing the feet a little bit closer, so they're hips distance apart, and this time separating the knees, so now you've got some engagement, so your knees aren't falling together. Roll your shoulders down and back so they're pressing into the mat, making contact with your upper back into the mat, and pull your belly button in and make contact with your lower back to the mat. So if you're tilting your pelvis down, you're going to arch your back. So find that neutral position where your back is pressed into the mat. Press your palms into the mat and bring your chin slightly towards your chest. And we're going to start with just some spinal warm-up, working through our shoulder bridge. So as you inhale, you begin to lift the glutes, lift the pelvis, lift the hips, one vertebra at a time, coming up to your shoulder blades. And as you exhale, you pull the belly button in, one vertebra at a time, lowering all the way back down. Someone has joined us. I can't read from here, but hi, welcome. Inhale, tilt the hips up. Coming to your shoulder blades. Exhale, pull the belly button in, lowering all the way down. If you'd like, add your arms into this movement. So you're going to inhale, reaching those arms overhead. Press the hips to the ceiling as you exhale, lower back down. So again, if you're moving faster or slower than me, that's absolutely fine. Don't make me dictate the pace of your movement. I'm just giving you the guidance. Sometimes I'm talking, so it's hard for me to actually know how long that breath would have been for someone because I am chattering, not breathing. But you know your breath, you know your body. So just marry the breath to the movement. No need to try to catch up or slow down. And then wherever you are, the next time you inhale and come up, go ahead and hold that up position. Press the hips up, keep breathing, stretch your arms overhead, give yourself a nice stretch. And then bring the arms down by the side again. And if you'd like, you can bring them under your body, clasping your hands, and that will help you get up a little bit more. Pushing the hips up, really contract the glutes to protect your back. And we're just going to rock up on the balls of our feet and lower back down. So you might find you need to move your feet closer together. That's absolutely fine. Not closer together, closer to your body rather. Up on the balls of your feet and back down. Lift up and down. And you're just continuing to take those long, deep breaths, expanding the ribs. You should feel a nice stretch in your abdomen as you breathe up here. In this position, taking deep belly breaths will really stretch the muscles of your abdomen, which should feel pretty good. And come up to the balls of your feet and then just press up even a little bit more, squeezing the glutes, pressing the hips even a little bit higher. And then move the hands out of the way if they're under you. Lower your heels to the mat. Lower your whole body down to the mat. And bring your knees into your chest, giving yourself a little hug. Kind of a happy baby. We always do this at the end, but there's no reason not to do it now. It's a nice hip opener. So you're going to reach your hands in between your legs, grabbing hold of ankles or maybe your feet. Just try not to lift your body off the mat. See if you can keep your low back and your pelvic bone into the mat. And then your arms are slightly pressing your hips out, your inner thighs out. Your knees are pulling back towards your armpits, and your feet are flexing. So this should feel like a nice stretch. And if you want, you can rock from side to side, which is going to massage that low back. I tend to focus a lot on the back in this class because it's just something that all of us need to do. It often gets neglected. So back and legs and hips kind of has tended to be the focus of this Wednesday class. Good, and then bringing the knees to tabletop, pull the abdomen in. So you're probably engaging your abs to hold the knees up here, so that's fine. Just really pull the belly in, and you can move the knees closer to the body if your back is arching, because you never want to arch that back. So we're going to do the side to side, so we're working our low spine in a twist, a little bit of abdominal work. So just move your hands out of the way. I tend to like cactus. It just feels nice on the shoulders. You could also extend them or just have them on your body. Drop your knees down to either side. And then we're going to go side to side. So you can lift the top knee, let it go over, and then the bottom leg is going to follow and become the top leg on the other side. And just go side to side that way. So you're lifting one leg, you can turn your head shoulder to shoulder, so you're looking over the opposite shoulder of where your legs are. And you're just lifting the leg, bringing it over, and then the other leg has no choice but to follow. Oh, someone else joined. Hi, everyone. I'm not calling you out for coming late. I don't mind at all. I just can't see who you are because you're just black boxes with white names that I can't read from here. But hi, welcome. And then whichever side you're going to next, go ahead and stay there. And then you can again, see if expanding the arms, extending them out feels good. See if keeping them in cactus feels good. I sometimes like to take the hand where that leg is and just gently pull it across. I'm gonna go the other way so you can see me. If your knees are up in the air, it's really nice to put a block or something under them as a place to land rather than having them like stuck in the air. That's not very relaxing. So if you've got a cushion, if you've got whatever to support them, that usually feels better. And then you can take that hand and put it on the thigh and twist. And then you can look over the other shoulder and continue that deep breathing here. Breathe in, notice how it feels different. When you're in this twist, it's harder to breathe, which is actually good for you to be breathing in this twist. And then lift those legs up and over to the other side. Same thing, pick the position that feels best. Move that block to the other side if that was helpful. And try to take a few deep breaths here. When we're holding these postures, I try to have you hold them for like 3 to 5 breaths, usually-ish. Again, it depends on how fast or slow you breathe, but that's kind of what we're aiming for. That gives your body time to relax into it and release a little bit. And bring yourself back to center. Draw the right knee into the chest, push the left leg away, flex the left foot, draw the shin towards your body on the right, and roll the right ankle a few times each direction. Taking a few breaths in and out as you do. Good, and then just make circles with your legs. So you're holding your shin and you're just moving it in the hip socket. So the hip is what's rotating around, but the arms are doing the work. Your leg isn't doing the work. Your arm is guiding it around. And then reverse direction. Just try not to hold onto your knee. Try to hold your thigh or your shin or your calf rather than pulling on your knee. Our precious, precious joints we want to not cause injury to. Good, extend that leg straight up in the air, flex the foot, keep the palms on the mat. See if you can keep the bottom leg extended. If this is bothering your back, go ahead and bend that knee. And we're not holding the leg, we're just pushing it away, really flexing the foot. Place your hands on your hips and see if you can keep them both kind of rooted in the mat. And now we're gonna push this leg to the floor as if we're pushing against like 1,000 pounds. So you're pushing, okay, maybe not 1,000 because you wouldn't actually get to the mat, but a lot. You're like pushing through wet cement. So you're really pressing the heel away, you're extending the leg, and you're slowly, slowly, slowly pressing down, 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 down to the mat. Once that leg comes all the way down, we're gonna switch sides, draw the left knee into the mat, flex the right foot, and roll the left ankle. And then as we did before, moving that hip joint in a circle, not holding the knee, holding any part of the leg that is not a joint. And working at the other direction. And then as we did before, palms on the mat, extend that left leg. Again, always don't feel like you can't bend the other knee. So if it's uncomfortable, if you haven't got the flexibility on this side, this leg is tighter, so I actually like a little bit of a bend in my other leg. Flex the foot, we're really stretching through the hamstring here, so if you've got tight hamstrings, you'll feel this, and your leg might not even get straight, and that's fine. Taking a breath. Again, if you want, it sometimes feels helpful to kind of ground yourself here, rooting yourself, holding onto your hips. And then flex that foot and push that heel like you're pushing through wet cement. Lowering it, lowering it. You're engaging your abs here. Pull that belly button in. There's not nothing going on in your abs. Good. Take an inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, roll yourself up. You can grab onto the backs of your thighs. Extend your legs out in front of you. We'll do our spine stretch forward, so this is technically a Pilates move, and the reason it's more Pilates than yoga is our spine is going to be rounded. When we extend in yoga, we do it with a flat back. In Pilates, we do it with a rounded spine. So roll those shoulders down and away. Arms are parallel to the floor, and they're going to stay parallel to the floor. In fact, if you want to take your very lightweight block, don't take anything heavy. You want to keep this up. You don't want it to touch the mat. So with or without the block, arms are extended. Take an inhale. As you exhale, chin drops towards chest. You reach the arms forward like you're trying to hand that block off to somebody. And you pulse forward 3 times on the exhale. Inhale, sit back up. Exhale, pull the belly button in. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale to roll back up. It can be 3 exhales, or it can just be an exhale for that 3 count. But you really want it to be a full exhalation of all of the breath. If you haven't got a block, it looks like this. Inhale, exhale, stretch forward. Arms stay parallel to the floor. We're not trying to touch our toes. Inhale. Last time. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, staff pose. Arms come long. Bring the legs together. Pull the shoulders down and back. Belly button pulls in. Take an inhale, and now as you exhale, extended spine. So we're not rounding our spine this time. Paschimottanasana, hinging forward, reaching the arms forward. Like I'm trying to hold someone's hands and they pull me forward a little bit more, really extending here out of this low back area. And then releasing down, letting the head go, letting the back go, letting the whole body release over. Inhaling and exhaling as you drop the head downwards. If you want, grabbing hold of calves, ankles, or feet if you can reach, and pulling yourself further down. Breathing into that back body, giving it energy, giving it healing. And roll yourself up. Excellent. Oh, I see another face. Hi. All right, come on over onto your hands and knees. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Our good old cow cat. So remember, cow cat always starts with the base of the spine. So on the inhale, the pelvis dips down, the belly button presses towards the earth, the chest lifts, and the head gazes forward. Then as you exhale, again starting with the base of the spine, you curl the pelvis under, lift the belly button towards the spine, release the head looking towards the navel, pressing into the hands to open the back. And again, just moving with your own breath. Inhaling through cow, exhaling through cat. As slowly as you want to. Good, work through one more, and the next time you arch up into cat, just pause there for a couple of breaths. Really press the hands away, pull the belly up, really arch, 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 arch through that back stretch in the upper back, and then sit back in your heels, reaching the hands forward, coming to child's pose, releasing the head to the mat. Taking an inhale here, and an exhale. Good, rolling yourself back up, coming back to hands and knees, stepping the right foot forward, coming up, so knee is over ankle, and then from here of the front leg, and then from here we're going to hinge forward. You want to make sure you're not like right on top of your kneecap first, so that for me that usually means I kind of have to adjust a little bit to make sure that you're more on your shin and kind of the lower part rather than right on the top of your kneecap. So just adjust that leg so it's comfortable. And then once it's comfortable, we're going to hinge forward here. So now that knee might pass out over your toe, and that's totally fine in this position because we're not bearing weight here. So in fact, we're stretching it. So think about pressing forward, think about opening this hip flexor, but also think about this lengthening and growing tall. So there's a tendency in this posture to drop into the hips. So even though we're pressing forward and a bit down, we're also lifting up, up, up. If you want, you can extend those arms up and think about lengthening the spine, bringing the gaze towards the ceiling. And coming to another one of my favorite moves, as if you're grabbing a bar up overhead, pull it down, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And extend it back up. Exhale, pull it down. So you've got imaginary weight here. Inhale, extend back up. Exhale, pull it down. 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Last time, and this time as you pull it down, find your hands to the mat and hinge backwards into that half splits. So you're extending the front leg, we're sitting back towards our hips. If the hands aren't finding the mat, this is another time you could use 1 or even 2 blocks or something to support yourself. Flexing the foot, just try not to hyperextend this right leg if you can. Mine will definitely tend to hyperextend unless I put a little micro bend in it. And then release the head down, folding over into your splits. So this is a challenging posture and it requires varying levels of flexibility. So I mean, some people get really far back in this, some people get really far down on their leg. Don't worry about any of that. Just wherever you are, you want to be feeling a stretch here in this front hamstring more than anything. You'll feel some stretching here in the low back, hopefully. Good, and then bring yourself back up. Coming to runner's lunge, so hands squaring off that right foot. Push the left heel away. Now once again, we want right knee over right ankle here. So if your foot's way back here, just scoot your foot forward. So knee is over ankle. And if you're struggling to find the floor, again, hand on block can really help so that you can have that nice long spine. Pushing that back leg away, straightening that leg as much as possible. And then keeping the left hand in the mat, we're going to twist to the right, extending that right arm. If you're wobbling or this is uncomfortable, you can just drop the back knee onto the mat to stabilize yourself. And make big circles with that right arm, swooping forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, hand finds the mat. Step the right knee back, dropping down to a modified plank. So you're on knees, hands are under shoulders, but we're at an angle, so it's not tabletop. The knees are more back here, chest is lifted, belly button's pulling in, gluteal muscles are contracted, and you're looking out in front of you on the floor somewhere so that your neck is in line. We're going to lower down to the mat, bending the elbows, they hug your rib cage as you bring your chest to the floor, your chin to the floor, and then finally your hips to the floor. Extend your legs behind you long, squeeze the legs together, leave the hands right where they are, and press up into a baby cobra. Shoulders are back, elbows are hugging the side, squeezing the gluteal muscles to protect them, and lower back down. Next time you inhale, pressing back up. Holding for a breath or 2. Is that Tiago I see? That's Tiago I see. And lower back down. And one more time. Inhale, press up. Sit all the way up and back, coming to child's pose. Release the head onto the mat. Breathe into that back. Good, and press yourself back up, coming once again to hands and knees. This time, drop into cow, so press the belly button down, lift the chest up, and then we're gonna wag our tail. So look over your left shoulder and try to look at your left hip, and then go to the other side. It's a little bit like a dog chasing its tail. You're not chasing it, but you're trying to get a glimpse of your tail. Side to side. Breathing on one side, inhale, exhaling on the other. Good, and then come back to center, pressing up, arching up into cat. From here, press into the tops of your feet and lift your knees off the mat. And just hover here for a moment. Breathing in, breathing out. Lower those knees down, step the left foot forward, rising up. Knee over ankle. And then once again, hinging forward. Again, just adjust that back leg so that it's comfortable for you. Hands behind, not on the knee, and we hinge forward. So again, thinking about lengthening upwards even as we drive forward. Chest is open. Take a couple breaths. Extending the arms up. As you reach the arms up, try to pull the shoulder blades down and away from the ears so you're not crunching up and contracting your neck there. Grab hold of that invisible lat pull down bar up above you. Inhale and pull it down. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, squeeze down. Continuing to drive the hip forward. 3 and 2. Last 1. Bringing the hands to the mat, finding block or mat, hinging backwards and releasing the head down. So you're pushing the hips back, flexing the foot. Again, if you hyperextend, maybe point the toe. It will help you from hyperextending. If your hamstring is bent, your knee is bent, and you're tight, that's when you want to flex the foot to try to create some extra stretch in there. This is a particularly good one for those of us who wear high heels. You're getting a nice stretch here in your Achilles when your foot is flexed like this, all the way up and into the hips. Good, and then hinging forward, hands on the mat, curl the back toes under you as you come to your runner's lunge. Again, just checking that knee is over ankle here. Pushing the heel away, stretching through that leg. Inhale, exhale. Keeping the right hand in the mat as we twist our body, really opening that chest, left shoulder towards the sky, extend the left arm, gazing up to it. And make some big circles, swooping that arm forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1, hand finds the mat, step that foot back. Option to come to full plank here for a moment. As always, option to drop to knees to modify plank, but those of you who want to hold for a moment in full plank, you can. Inhaling and exhaling. I never want to deny you a moment to do plank. My favorite. Drop to knees if you're not already there. Again, if you want to do full chaturanga from toes, that's fine. Otherwise, coming to your modified plank, belly is in. So the modified plank should look like a ski slope. So if someone took a marble on the top of my head, it would roll down the back of my neck, roll off my body, down there, off my glutes somewhere. Squeezing the elbows by your side, angling the chest towards the floor, chest, chin, and hips. So coming to cobra again, hands stay exactly where they are, and we press up to cobra, elbows hugging the ribs, shoulders down and back. Option to continue doing this, lower back down. More advanced option if you want to try it, hands slide back to about the top ribs to come up to upward facing dog. Completely optional. And up dog, we're going to lift up, hips off the mat, shoulders are still down, elbows are still by the side. And release that back down. One more time, your option, inhale up to either cobra or upward facing dog. And then in either case, sit back on your heels in child's pose. Once again, breathing into that back. Inhale, exhale. Rising back up to hands and knees. Option to stay here on all fours or option to come to a downward facing dog. So arms are extending out in front of us, heels are pressing towards the mat. Releasing the head. You do not need to do this. You can just simply stay in your all fours. And then everybody come up so you're hanging over in a forward fold. So coming up onto your feet or walking those feet forward, letting your head like a sofa, something that isn't gonna move, because you can actually bear your weight and lean back into it a little bit. It supports you. It's really helpful to find that alignment. And squeezing yourself all the way up. And then just step back to the top of your mat. Take an inhale. Extending upwards as you exhale. Release downwards. As you inhale, come halfway up, flat back, and pause. So this is stretching the backs of our hamstrings. Just make sure you're not locking your knees. I often see people popping into their knees here. And bring your hands just right on your shins without pressing into them. Roll your shoulders away from your ears. Nose is pointing down towards the floor. Belly button is pulling towards the spine, supporting you. We're aiming for a flat back here. So think about flattening out the top of your back. That's usually where I see roundedness. So see if you can extend out of there. Imagine my hand has just come up right to the middle of your back and I just press gently on that and what that would feel like to open that up. And then forward fold all the way into this, bending your knees, grabbing hold of your big toes with your peace fingers, letting your head go, and then straighten your legs as much as you can, which may not be all the way straight. Pull your head downwards towards the floor, using the strength of your arms to create straightness and flexibility in your legs. Good, releasing this, bend the knees, step one foot back, followed by the other. I gotta keep my block out of the way. Find either modified plank or full plank, you decide. This is plank from toes. This is plank from knees. I don't mind what you do. I can't see you, so you're impressing no one but yourself. Well, or your child, for those of us who have our 8-year-old in the room with us. All right, we're gonna come to pigeon. So this right foot is gonna come forward, come across the body, and then the right knee is gonna come down onto the mat as the left leg extends behind us. So there's a tendency to roll and sit on that right glute. We don't wanna do that. So you can either wedge your block under you or just keep your hips square forward. Chest is lifting, leg is really extending behind us, pulling the shoulders down and away. You can stay right here, or if you want, you can walk forward and you can let your body relax on the floor. It doesn't really matter. Now, if none of this is working for you, if this is just super uncomfortable, you're gonna come onto your back. You're gonna cross your right ankle across your left thigh, and you're gonna come to figure 4 on your back, okay? That is our alternative for pigeon, supine pigeon. And take a couple of deep breaths. In either version, you should be feeling this in your hip, in your right hip. If you're looking at me, I know that looks like beer, but I swear it's just super diluted Gatorade. Good, we're gonna press up from this, curl the toes under. Down dog tends to feel really good on this. So if you can do down dog, kick yourself up to a 3-legged down dog. If not, just come to all 4s, totally fine. But if down dog feels good, bend that right knee, drop the right foot. So bend the right knee, drop the right foot towards the left side, lifting the right knee up. So right knee is stacking over, right hip is stacking over left. Good, then place that foot down, just finding down dog on this side. And then we're gonna come to pigeon on this side. So wherever you are, that left foot comes forward, comes across the body, lowers down onto the mat. So take a moment here, even if you're gonna stretch out onto the mat, this part's really important. Take that moment to really inch that back foot as much behind you as you can, keeping the hips square, not flopping down onto that glute. Open up the chest so you're really lengthening. Someone's still pulling you up here and pulling you back here. So you create a lot of length in your spine. And then once you're kind of in a final posture here, if you want, bring yourself down to the mat. Head can rest on the block.
or on your hands. There's no right or wrong way. You can add a twist here or a bind here. Just release yourself down. If you want to stretch your arms out in front of you, that can feel good. Notice if there's any difference. Same option on this side. If it doesn't work on this side, come to your back, cross left ankle over right thigh. Coming to the supine version of this. And pressing yourself up. Same as we did on the other side, your option to push all the way up to a three-legged down dog, or you can come to all fours and just relax there. If you're in down dog, bending that left knee, dropping the left foot towards the right side, stacking left hip on right. Good, and then releasing that down. Flattening out one last time into plank or modified plank. Holding for a few seconds. Modified plank on knees. And then lower that all the way down. Chest finds the floor, chin finds the floor, hips find the floor. Extend the legs long. Bring the hands behind your back, clasping them together. And then pull the hands back as you lift the chest off the mat. Pull the shoulder blades together. And then option to lift the feet off the mat as well. Contracting the gluteal muscles. Holding and squeezing. If it's too much, just lower the feet. And release that down, pushing into the hands. Sitting up. Extending the legs out in front of you. Crossing left leg over right. Sitting up nice and tall. Option to leave the leg there or option to tuck it behind. Again, we're sitting tall, you're twisting towards that left leg, left hand behind, and then the right arm either hugs the leg or comes all the way across, and option to leave that right arm like you're waving to the person next to you, or you can reach down towards your foot. Really pull that left shoulder back and try to sit nice and tall. Don't lean into that left hand. Sit up nice and vertical, holding for about 3 or 5 breaths here. Breathing into the twist. Coming back to center, tucking that left foot behind you, coming to cow face posture, so you're stacking one knee on top of the other. If this doesn't work for you, just stay where you are with legs in front of you, bending the left elbow, or the right elbow, sorry, left knee, right elbow, and then you can either grab that tricep or reach your hand up and try to clasp your fingers behind your back. If any of this is uncomfortable, just modify. You can work on the tricep this way. You could just leave your legs extended as they were, the one knee bend crossed over the other. Good. Unravel all of that. Extend the left leg out, cross the right leg over. Again, you can just do the twist from here, or you can tuck that leg behind you. Make sure you can still sit nice and tall. Twisting around, right hand comes behind, left hand either hugs the knee. I'm going to turn sideways this time so you can see the profile version. Hugging here, or you bring that leg, arm all the way over the leg, twisting that back shoulder around, nice and vertical here. So I'm not falling into this back hand. And again, this hand, sometimes people like to just have up, or you could be hugging the knee. Breathing into the twist. Notice how it feels to breathe with those constricted lungs. You're building strength, building capacity. And then just wriggle that foot behind you, stacking your knees again. For our Gormukhasana, bending the opposite elbow, either grabbing hold just below the elbow or reaching the hand up, Clasping hands. Ooh, my hips feel really tightless today. I don't know why. Good, and then releasing out of that, coming onto hands and knees, we're just gonna slide out into our little frog stretch. So one knee can come off the mat, especially if you have a slippy surface. It helps if you have a slippery surface. If not, see if you can just push that knee out. So with this, you'll notice if you flex your feet and push the knees out, you start to get a stretch. And then it's your option how much you sit back or forward. As the more you sit back, you're gonna notice more of a stretch in your inner thighs. So you want to feel it certainly, but it shouldn't hurt. So if this is hurting, just bring the knees closer together, hinge the body forward. And then work those feet back together. And bring your knees together, bring your feet together, and sit on your heels. Bring your arms by your side, tucking into a little tiny ball for child's pose, which is also sometimes called rock posture for some of us who are children, because a child doing any pose is a child's pose. Breathe into the back and let it go. And come on up to sitting once more. Spin those legs around. Hold on to the backs of your thighs as you lower yourself down onto the mat. Give yourself a stretch just like we did at the beginning, stretching your arms overhead, legs down below. And then bring your arms down by your side, rolling shoulders down away from the ears, separating your legs so they're not touching, bringing your arms out to your side so they're away from the body, not touching the body. Take a deep inhale. Open your mouth and let it go. And again. Last time. And then just allow yourself to relax. Once again, just focusing on the breath. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose. Focusing on the word inhale and exhale if it helps, or focusing on a count. Inhaling for 1, exhaling for 1, inhaling for 2, exhaling for 2. Or maybe count as you inhale to 3 or to 4 and count as you exhale. With every exhalation, feel the body sink a little bit more into the mat. Letting go of the muscles from the toes, all the way up the legs. Exhale, releasing the hips and the glutes. Breathe that relaxation all the way down the arms. As you exhale, letting go of the fingers, the shoulders, the chest. Feeling your head heavy in the mat. With nothing to do right now but inhale and exhale. Giving yourself this gift at this time. Taking a moment to be grateful.
And showing your gratefulness to your body by giving it this break, this rest. Noticing as your breath slows, becomes more easy. Notice as your heart rate slows. Become aware of any areas that you're holding tension and let them go. It's your jaw, your shoulders, your knees. Exhale, let them go. And then begin to gently reawaken, wiggling fingers and toes, rolling wrists and ankles, letting your head roll from side to side. Draw your knees towards your body and giving yourself a hug, giving yourself a little rock from side to side. And rolling over to either side. Tucking into a little ball for a moment in the fetal position. And then when you're ready, pressing yourself up to sit. Crossing the legs in front of you, keeping your eyes closed, finding a nice comfortable sit, arms resting in your lap. Extending tall. And just for a moment, as you're sitting here, hopefully feeling relaxed, hopefully feeling at peace, take a moment to feel grateful for something in your life. See if you can actually bring your attention to 1 or 2 or 10 things that you're grateful for. And then bring your hands, one palm to your heart, the other hand on top. And hold those things for which you're grateful close to your heart. Breathe them in. And let that feeling of grace and gratefulness wash over you. Breathe in energy and light, filling your body with that positivity. And then take a deep inhale, release that energy, share it with the world, draw your hands together overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Om Shanti Om. I'm grateful to all of you for sharing your energy with me. Namaste. Have a wonderful evening.